All right, so welcome to Math 150. This is Calculus 1 with analytic geometry, and it is the first of 3 fabulous courses that we offer here at Mesa in calculus. It is one of my favorite classes to content-wise, but it's also one of my favorite classes to teach. And so I hope that we have a really good time this summer learning about all things regarding slope and area. That's basically what we're going to be talking about all summer long. And so with that, my name is Judy Wu, as you can tell on the name on my screen. This is the 7 to 9:25 a.m. section of calculus. We will be meeting Monday through Thursday. We will not meet on Fridays. That will be your one day off for the next 8 weeks. This is my maybe like 6th or 7th time teaching this course. And again, I think it's such a great course because no matter where you came from prior to this, I think that there is a lot that you can do to sort of achieve what you want to achieve. I know this is a prerequisite or one of the last math classes you ever need to take for a lot of you. And so if we are on, as long as we have a really solid foundation here, I think you'll have a lot of good choices moving forward about what you choose to pursue in college. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and move into Canvas. Okay, so I asked you to go ahead and pull up Canvas, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as well so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. All right, is everyone able to see the canvas on my screen now? Yes, okay, great, thank you so much. All right, so we have our Canvas shell here. It's not super fancy, but it does the job. And so here, what I want us to do right now is you're gonna go ahead and go to the assignments. So in your left-hand column, you should see home, announcements, and assignments. You're gonna go ahead and click on assignments. And there should be all these assignments listed, right? Super overwhelming, but we're going to get through them one assignment at a time. And we are going to start with this scavenger hunt. So if you go ahead and click on the scavenger hunt, which should be the very first assignment in your list, you'll see something kind of like this. Yeah. And if you don't have your camera on, if you want to give me a quick thumbs up, there are little icons where you're able to do a thumbs up. Perfect, perfect. Or if you have your camera on, you can give a real live thumb up. That's also fine. Or a yes, all of those are great. Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to put you in in some breakout rooms just for about 10 minutes. Part of this is because I think that online learning is really hard. I think online learning is really hard when it's just yourself and you're like sitting in your room crying about why slope is so hard, right? And I don't wish that upon anyone. And so part of what I want us to do is just get a chance talking to some people. All right, you can turn your cameras on there if you want or not. Again, we'll leave that comfort level up to you. But I'm going to put you in some breakout rooms. You're going to go ahead and write down or type your answers to the things in the scavenger hunt. And this will be your first assignment that you actually turn in. Okay. And so once you go ahead and you can either, again, write down your answers or you can type your answers and answer them with each other, but you're basically going to be looking at the Canvas site and making sure that you can find all of this important information. All right. If you are mobile right now, moving around, perhaps at an airport, and you are unable to do this assignment, it is due by midnight tonight. Okay, so most of the deadlines in this class are by midnight. So by 11:59 tonight, I expect that everyone has posted their solutions for this scavenger hunt. Okay. Are there any questions before I move us into some breakout rooms? All right. Yes, you can absolutely use a Google Doc to upload things. I believe that I've set the file type to be a PDF. And the reason for that is because we're going to be using PDFs or converting a lot of files to PDFs when we upload them. And so I just want us to get into the swing of things. It's hard to know what other instructors have done. And so part of this is like an onboarding process on how you turn things into a PDF. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and create some breakout rooms. They're going to be about 7 folks in each room. And you can answer the questions together, but I'm going to ask that each person submit their own assignment. Okay. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up those breakout rooms. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and request help and ask for me to pop into your room, and I am happy to do so. Okay, so if you are fine with that, then I'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Otherwise, if you have a question, I'll see you before that. All right, see you folks back here in a little bit. Right. Yes, so what kind of questions do we have on the scavenger hunt? If there were any, let's put them in the chat right now. You can either direct message me or you can put it out there for the entire class to see. Either way is fine. Let's take a moment. If there are any questions on that scavenger hunt or sort of how this class works, go ahead and put them in the chat. Once we have a list, I'll go ahead and answer some of those questions. Yes, okay, so you can still type in questions. I'm going to start answering them. And we're going to go ahead and start with the first question, which is there are 2 syllabi. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen again. I think I fixed that. If you look on the home page for the Math150 course, and the one you want to go to is the course syllabus that's right here, linked right here. I did change the other link. I forgot that it transports over, and the syllabus, I forgot that I had actually put a syllabus in the syllabus. I usually just put everything on the landing page on your homepage. So this landing page is where you're going to find pretty much everything. But the syllabus that you, whoops, not that one, this one. The syllabus that you want should be this one. Let's make this a little bit larger. I don't know how many of you have 20/20 vision. I certainly do not. So we'll make this a little bit larger for folks. But this one should be the syllabus for our class. Okay, so it has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 a.m. to 9:25, summer session number 1. Okay. All right, so the textbook. Lots of folks had questions on the textbook. If you go to OpenStax, okay, and let me go ahead and link in the chat. Why did that turn into a link? Let's do this. I actually will be recording the lectures, and I post them pretty much right after the lesson. So all the lectures will be recorded. So I don't think and everything will be on Canvas like right away. It's not like I'm going to wait like 5 days to upload everything for you. Right, but I did drop a link in the chat for the textbook. It is a free online textbook. If you've taken calculus before and you have another textbook, you're welcome to use that as well. I do provide sort of like, I have all the blank notes for the course that we'll go through and work through together, and we'll have lecture videos and we'll have homeworks that kind of summarize all the key points here. I just wanted to choose something that was cost efficient for all of us, meaning you don't have to pay anything. I know that sometimes folks like extra practice problems. Okay, so this part is completely optional, and I've had a few folks ask me about the WebAssign. I want to emphasize that the WebAssign is 100% optional. Okay, so if you want to pay. And I think I want to say this is somewhere around $50-ish for WebAssign. Okay. You can pay for the WebAssign. I do have some assignments on WebAssign that you can look through, or there are other practice problems or tutorials. That's only if you feel like you're someone who really likes a lot of extra practice problems. You're welcome to do that. There is a free 2-week trial that you are welcome to try it out and just say, hey, like, I just want to see what it's like. And if you sort of enjoy the format of it, you may want to keep it for the summer. However, if you're like, well, I don't really love WebAssign, you have no obligation to purchase this. It is not at any point something that will be non-optional for the class. Okay, so you won't have any points associated with it. I don't even know how much it will sort of, be practical for you. I think that's sort of a personal choice, but there is a 2-week trial period, which we can sort of try it for free and see how you feel. Okay, I think people have sort of split opinions on WebAssign. Some people really like it, some people really don't like it. So I'll leave that choice up to you. The option is there, but it is 100% optional. You should not in any way feel obliged to pay for WebAssign. Okay. So I hope that sort of clarifies the textbook and the WebAssign piece. And the textbook has a table of contents. We're going to be starting in chapter 2, but if I went to say 2.1, so the nice thing about this textbook is you're able to sort of highlight things. It has all the pictures here. And if you go to the end of any given section, if you go to end of any section, there are exercise questions, and the ones that are sort of like blue and underlined, those questions have answers. So all the odd numbered questions have answers, very similar to any textbook that you've used in the past. Okay, so this could be a good place to sort of try getting extra practice problems as well. Again, all the odd numbers sort of how you hover it over, there's like a little hand that pops up. That means that there's an answer. I don't know that they're worked out, but there is like a numerical answer. But then the ones that are just like a regular number, that one does not have an answer. Okay. There are a bunch of resources out there on the interweb for calculus. And so that's sort of why I didn't require for us to purchase any, piece, and we're going to use a free textbook. One that I do want to put up there, if you have not ever heard of Paul's online notes, I'm going to go ahead and drop this link in the chat as well. Okay. Paul's online notes, he does not have videos. And I know a lot of us are sort of like really video-based learners these days, but he has amazing resources for Calculus 1. If you're going to take Calc 2, Calc 3, differential equations, if that's your path, he has so many resources that I would really encourage you to sort of get familiar with how he does things. He has a lot more worked out examples. And so that might be a place where you're like, I don't know, like I didn't get the number answer, but I don't know where I went wrong. He's really good about walking you through sort of step by step. Okay, so these 2 links that I just put in the chat, you might want to bookmark them just so you have them for future reference, or you can be like me and sort of have a bazillion tabs open at all times and just kind of hope you don't close anything by accident, right? So Paul's online notes is sort of a great resource out there, and our official textbook is OpenStax and also has a URL. Okay. All right, so folks, I think those were most of the questions about WebAssign and textbooks and my oopsie with the 2 syllabi. Are there any other questions that we sort of have right now? Yes, for sure. Okay, so if you go into Canvas, was anyone able to find the Lasamana? All right, so where you're going to find those, under your to-do list, there's always a to-do list if you're looking on the sort of computerized version. I think it's not in a different place if you have the app on your phone. But the La Semana is just our weekly announcements. Okay, so every week I will send out at least one announcement, probably more if I like goof on something or whatever. I just want to make sure that we're all, reading our messages regularly. But if we click on announcements and we click on La Semana, week 1. Okay, so every week I'm going to send out some announcements, and this will be the general structure. So we will have, number 1 is usually some random announcements. It might be like deadlines that are coming up, outside of this class, that might be like withdraw dates or add drop dates, or, these are some common misconceptions I saw on this quiz, that kind of thing. Number 2 is usually a summary for the week. And so since we are in week 1, you can see that this week we'll cover limits day 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's a list of all the assignments that are due for that week. Okay, so this is another place, like a sort of a one-stop shop that you can go and see sort of deadlines and what we're going to be covering. And then I'm going to have this one here probably all summer long, but support. Okay. I know that Math 150 is a tough course. And so we don't have official office hours. However, here are a few ways that we can get some support. Okay. So I've noticed that a few of you have already joined. This is all of these are sort of optional, but I want to put these out there in case we're sort of wondering what we can do to sort of get support. I've created a Discord server for the whole class. You're welcome to join this one. I am probably going to be fairly available via Discord server over the summer. And so if you have questions on the homeworks or on the lectures, this is a great place to put those questions out. Now, I know some of us might be kind of shy. We're like, you know what? I don't want to be that person who's going to ask that question. You can always send me a direct message, or you can email me a question. And I might post that question and say, hey, somebody or a few folks had this question, and here's the answer. Okay, so there are many ways that you can sort of reach out to me to get some support. Discord, again, it's a sort of a server that a lot of gamers use, but we can also use it to support each other in Math 150 this summer. Okay, you can use it on your computer. You can also use it on your phone, and so it might be, something that hopefully we can all use. All right. Of course, you always have an option to make your own study group. And I think that's a little bit harder because, we don't necessarily see each other in person. You can't be like, hey, person sitting next to me, do you want to go study? So, certainly reach out to folks, talk to each other. I think that if we all sort of like have this mentality that we're in it together, we're going to do fine. Okay. What I always feel badly for is the student who's like, been suffering silently for weeks and weeks and like hasn't asked any questions, and then just like feels so alone in this process. And I think that's like a very sad place to be. And I hope we aren't there. Okay. If you are feeling like you have some questions that would be sort of easier to ask in person, I do have some sort of availability outside of our class time. And so you can email me and say, hey, can we just meet and chat via Zoom? And I'm happy to do so if it works for both of our schedules. Okay. All right, last thing on this La Semana. So sometimes there'll be a miscellaneous if there are sort of extra announcements that I need. If you have not joined the Desmos class, now this part is not optional, okay? So please make sure that you join the Desmos class. You can click on this link right here, all right? And it should be right there in the La Semana. But let me go ahead and I'll put those links right in the chat as well for us. Okay, so we are, the code should be, if you click on this link, does it still ask you for a code? I tried to make sure I copied. It does. Oh, okay.
It does, but excuse me, Professor, sorry. It does, but mine already, it comes with the code already. So all you got to do is click join.
Okay, I think these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the last 6 numbers and digits should be the code, the 4URU7B, that should be the code. There you go. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, Luca, that was a very long answer to your question. Does that help with the La Semana? Okay, thank you. All right, so let's put this in here. This is the Desmos link, Discord link. Is right there. Okay. So there we go. Folks are popping into the Discord server. Excellent, excellent. And looks like we have about half of us are in the in Desmos right now. That number is going up. Excellent, excellent. Okay. All right. So that was a lot. I feel like the first day is always a lot of like moving parts and figuring out how the class feels. Do we have any questions right now before we move along? Try with the all caps, like capital U, capital R, capital U. Sometimes they're case sensitive and I'm not quite sure. Okay, so let's do this. Even though this is a little early, we'll take 2 breaks today. Let's take a short break right now. Okay, there should not be any assignments in there yet. I'm about to put in the first assignment, okay? So it is 7:38 right now. Let's come back at 7:50 a.m. Okay, so let's take a short break right now, come back at 7:50 a.m. We'll give people time to hop on Discord, hop on Desmos, make sure we're all there. Make your coffee if you haven't already. And I will also throw that first assignment in Desmos so we can take a look at that when we get back. All right, so I'll see you folks back here in about 10 minutes. You're welcome to ask some questions if you have some right now, but otherwise I'll see you back in 10 minutes.